Okay, this is my second video in LWC series. So this video is lifecycle hook in LWC. So what is the lifecycle hook? So this is the definition. So lifecycle hook are a special method or function that are automatically called at a specific stage of the component life in the web application. They allow developer to intervene and execute the code at a certain critical moment during the component lifecycle, such as when it is created, rendered, updated, or destroyed. Means in your LWC have some pre-built method which is called automatically. When your LWC is created, rendered, updated, or destroyed into the DOM in between some specific stage of time, this method are called is called lifecycle hook. So we have a 6 lifecycle hook in LWC. So first one is the constructor, connected callback, render callback, error callback, and disconnected callback. So if you are suppose you are creating a LWC, so you at least know which hook you are using to do the operation. So I will show every hook's example and detail how it is used. So now I have a diagram which is show the process for your LWC is inserted into the DOM. So which hook will be called automatically. So this diagram I will took into the official website so you can see it. Suppose I have a two LWC component, parent and child. And those component you are put into your page and now you are refresh your page. So what happened? First your parent component constructor is called. In here your parent constructor called. Then after your parent inside some private property will be updated using @API. It is called public property. Sorry, I say private, but your public property will be updated after constructor call. Then after your parent is inserted into the DOM. After inserted, your connected callback hook will be called in on your parent side. Then after your parent render hook call, and then your child constructor will be called. After child constructor call, your child public property will be updated. After updating your public property into the child, then after your child inserted into the DOM, then pass connected callback on your child side. After connected callback call into the child, your child will be rendered. Then after your child render callback called, after your parent render callback will be called. So you can keep it in mind when you're dealing with child and parent. So you must be know about which render callback is called first. So first child render callback will be called first. Then after your parent render callback method will be called. So this is a different. In this way your all hook will be called. Suppose right now I am give the example of parent and child, but in your case multiple child or multiple parents, so you can keep in mind how process will be working. So just go further. So now I have a constructor. First method is constructor. So what is a constructor when we use it, this hook? So here is a constructor method is a fire when component instance is created. It is primarily used for initialize the component property. It is set up a component before it is connected to the DOM. Means constructor is a call when your component instance will be created and you can initialize your property. Means suppose you are put your component to your page and then you refresh your page. So first your component instance will be created, then attach your component to your page. So in between your instance will be created and in your component have some property you have to initialization. So in these things you can do in your constructor. And after constructor, your component will be inserted into the DOM. So the second one is the first statement must be super with no parameter. If you are create your constructor, so you have to write the first syntax in super keyword with no parameter. This is the establish the correct prototype chain and value for this. Always call super before touching this. Means why we are using the first syntax in super, because our component JS is a one kind of class, not a one kind, it is a class, and this class is inherited. Look here, inherited, extend keyword to inherit the lightning element class. So if you are trying to call the constructor in our component class, so you must be call your lightning element constructor. That's the reason to be mention the super keyword here. I think you know about the inheritance concept. So if you are trying to call the child component constructor, so you must be called the super keyword. Yeah, that concept is here. The third one is the don't use the return statement inside the constructor body. So obviously constructor do not return anything. So don't use it. The fourth one is the don't use the document write and document open method. It is obviously because constructors call after, sorry, constructor call is before insert the DOM our component. So that's the reason you never find the document in your page. So you cannot use document write or open method in your constructor. And also you don't inspect the element attribute and child because it is does not exist yet. Obviously you not exist child component instance any. And also be you don't inspect the element public property because they are set after the component is created. So you are try to fetch some API variable value, so it is not fetch in your constructor side because it is there in this time it is undefined because it's not set yet, because your component is not properly created in this constructor call time. So here is the example how to create the constructor method. So this is my component JS, and now we have created a constructor method inside my component. First statement is my super keyword, then after I will write a log, and here I am using initialize the value for message variable. So this is a simple example for constructor. Now I am going further. The second lifecycle hook in LWC is a connected callback. The connected callback, when does connected callback run? So here is the first one. It is run after the component is added to the page. Okay, our component instance is created, then after our component is added into the DOM. So after our component is successfully inserted into the DOM, then after our connected callback hook is called. It is only run once during the component lifecycle. Means in this method is called one time when your component is inserted into the DOM. Okay, then it is often used to data fetching, setting up event listener, and modifying and host the element. Means in this method you can do the fetch the data, or also you can initialize the event, use the event listener, modify the host element. Host element means DOM element. Like you can use like query selector to get the ID through some DOM attribute and change the class, change the style. In this thing you can do in this component connected callback. Sorry for say component, but you can do in this hook like connected callback method. Then after, when to use the connected callback. So first things you have to use fetching the data from Salesforce or external API. So obviously it is a good one. If you try to fetch some kind of data, so you must be use write the code in connected callback. Use the method like call apex method, fetch the external data when the component is load. The second, setting attribute on host element. So you can modify the host element, which is the DOM element. The third one is subscribing the event, such as PubSub, LMS, and window event. You can subscribe and lightning message service or custom event in this connected callback. The fourth one is modifying the reactive property based on the parent input. Useful in this component to react to parent provided data. Means you can use or modify the public property or reactive property like at the red track like property. Here is the example for connected callback. So my component name is account list, and here we are creating the one list accounts, and in this component we are using one import method to fetch the account controller class, which is created into the apex side, and in this component in this class I have one get account method. And now I have import this method and use in this method into the connected callback. So first our component is created, then after our component is successfully inserted into the DOM, now our connected callback call. And then connected callback call inside we are use fetch the data from account using the get account method. So this is the syntax for get account method, and then it is successfully run, so our result will be stored into our account array. This is a simple example for connected callback. Now our third method is render. So what is the render? The render method control which HTML template is used to for rendering the component. Means in some case it is the rarely needed, but it is useful for conditionally switching between the different templates. It is run before the component is rendered. Means render method is rare case to use in your our component, but what is the use? Suppose in your component some kind of requirement to you have to display some switching the HTML template. If you want to like in this type of requirement, so I have to show this type of UI, and this type of requirement this type of UI, so you have to handling with switching the template using the render method. Now when to use the render? When you need to multiply multiple template, when you need to multiple template and you want to conditionally switching between them, okay, some kind of conditional to switch the template when you want to return the specific template dynamically based on the condition. Okay, render method is written always HTML template, and you can dynamically change the template. I will show the example so you can easily understand how it works, the render method. So here I have a two template, main template HTML, alternate template HTML, which is imported in top of the, and now we are using one so alternate track boolean variable, and this is my render method. So no need to call the render method because it is automatically called when up after the connected callback. So now it is checked, so alternative template is false, so this ternary condition is false. So right now our main template HTML will be rendered in my render example template, and I have created one method toggle template, and this method is called some kind of button click too. So whenever I try to button click, so this variable is true, toggling like false to true, and then our reactive property we are defining the track. So whenever our reactive property will be changed, so automatically render will be called. So also we are changing false to true, so automatically our render will be called, and then it is check the condition, and in this case our alter template will be rendered. So this is the render concept. In some kind it is the way you can switch the HTML template using the render method. And fourth, lifecycle hook is a render callback hook. What is the render callback hook? The render callback is a lifecycle hook that is fired after the component has been rendered in the DOM. It runs every time and the component re-render, not just once like a connected callback. It is useful for interacting with the DOM. Interacting with the DOM means, what is the render callback? So first line is say a render callback is called after render. Means our render hook is called, then after render callback will be called. Okay, the it run every time. Component re-render means your something change in your UI side or your component will be re-render. So in this case, render callback will be called, and it is useful to interact in the DOM. Means suppose you have to change some kind of property or some value, so your component will be render, and also render callback will be called. So when to use the render callback? So when you need to manipulate the DOM element after rendering. Suppose you have to manipulate the DOM element in your requirement when you need to perform the action every time the component is updated. You have to do some kind of operation after rendering your component. So in this case, you have write the code in the render callback, and when you want to apply the style dynamically. In this case, you have to apply the style dynamically inside the render callback. Here is an example of render callback. Why we are using the render callback? Suppose here I have an example. So we have changed dynamically paragraph color, front color. So here we are using the render callback. Whenever our component is re-rendered, so our paragraph font color will be red. We are mentioning fetch the document to all paragraph. No, not all, but it is the first one paragraph, and then add the style red. So this is the way you can use to render callback. Now our fifth one is the error callback. What is the error callback hook? It catches unhandled JavaScript error that occurs in the component or it is the child component. Okay, the error component is the fetching the or handling the JavaScript error which is occur in our component. Also, you also handle the child component error. It prevents the entire lightning page from breaking due to an error. So it is handling the error. So now our LWC is breaking. Then third one is it provides information about the error message and stack trace. Means using this method so to handle the error and display very good display the error in your page in very good way because it is display the error message so you can handle it. So when to use the error callback? Because error callback is not called until your page have no error. So the handle unexpected error in your component or child component. So this is one way you can use the error callback. The second, you log error to debugging the display friendly message. Because in your components error will be thrown, so you can display some friendly message in this time. And to prevent the break UI by catching the error, you can also be preventing the breaking your UI in this handle in this case error callback method inside. So this is the way you can use error callback. So here I have an example how to handle the error message. So suppose I read left hand side our HTML code and right hand side our JS code. Suppose in case our LWC have some throw the error, so error callback is automatically called. In this method I have two parameter error and stack. So I have fetch error inside the error message and store into the error message variable, and I have display also will log console error. Then now suppose error is thrown, so we are putting into the condition template is true error message have condition in this case. So we are display the one paragraph line inside the message. So in this case, in this way you can display your user side error message. The sixth one is the last LWC hook is a disconnected callback. So what is the disconnected callback? It is a fire when component is removed from the DOM. So it is opposite for the connected callback. It is used to clean up the resource like event listener, timers, LWC subscription act. What is the opposite of, yeah, we can say the opposite of connected callback. So connected is inserted into the DOM. That's why connected callback is called. And remove your component into the DOM. So disconnected callback is called. So when to use the disconnected callback? Subscribe from the event or lightning message service, because you are using in your component lifecycle event subscription or LMS. So you can mention disconnected callback to remove these things, and also be cleaning the intervals, timeouts, or WebSocket disconnection. You can use or free the variable in your disconnected callback and remove in the event listeners and attach it to window or document. Here I have used the example of disconnected callback. So here I have some simple set interval. So first I have connected callback to create the set interval, and every 1 second the set interval will be called, and after our component is removed into the DOM, so disconnected call and clear the interval. So this instance will be clear into our browser side, so free the space. So this is the way you can remove all the variable which is created into your component. You have to good practice to free in your disconnected callback. So this is our sixth lifecycle hook in LWC. So now I'm showing how it is run. So I'm logging my org. I have created already the demo of lifecycle hook, so I'm just show it. Okay. This is my page. Here, this is my LWC. I will show into the Lightning Studio inside my LWC code. Okay, this is my template A code, template B, my LWC code, my JS. Okay, now what I have to do? So here I have mentioned two, here template 1 and template 2 CSS, sorry for HTML, template 1 and template 2 HTML, which is created manually HTML in here my component inside. Then this is my current page HTML, and this is my JS file. So first I have used constructor using super keyword, and also we put the one log and initialize the value which is here main template. And then after I am using the connected callback. In connected callback I'm just simply the log and use user data in here, not, but inside you can fetch the data in your Apex side or calling the API or like this. You can also be manage the DOM element and modify. The third one is the render. So render is called where first I have here user template is variable is defined string, because right now I'm passing the value string. So in this variable data type is string. So in here I'm checking the value is user template A have a main value, so it is written default HTML. So which one is my first LWC HTML will be rendered in this line. Super render is it is written default template. And third render callback, I'm just put the log. The error callback is called when your error is facing your component side, and disconnected callback I have using simple add the log. And this is I have created one toggle function which is first check message if our variable is right now our main, so means it is a true. So first template value will be passed here message side, and then it is a variable value will be changed in not not so true to false, and then assign here not equal to sign. So if your variable have a true, so convert into false, and here I am at the debug. So let's check on this left hand side. Okay, now I have opened the console, clear all this thing, and now I have refresh again. So you can see it. First our constructor will be called, constructor call, then after our connected callback will be called. So in this case our component instance will be created, then after our component is successfully inserted into the DOM, so connected callback will be called, then render method will be called after our component will be successfully rendered, then our render callback method will be called. So in this case our render callback method called. Now we have a button in main HTML. So in this case this is my HTML page main template, and this page is displayed right now. Now I am pressing the button switch template A. So whenever I am pressing the switch template A, so you can see it. With first template HTML will be rendering, because here our value will be changed. So automatically our render method will be called after changing the reactive property. So render automatically called and checked. Right now our value will be false, so it is not condition passed. Then here it is checked false, so our for true to our variable template A is called here, and you can see it message also we are passing here first template, so it is passed here and first template will be called. Then I will press again switch to template B, so template B HTML will be displayed here. So this is the way you can use the render lifecycle hook, and this is the simple demo to you can handle. And after we are change the temp, so you cannot see the disconnected callback and error callback yet, because it is the call when your LWC is removed in your DOM. Right in now in this case I have no any code to remove the DOM, so this will not display the debug, and also be not any error in our case, so you cannot see the error callback, but you can use it in this way. So thank you for watching my LWC second video.